Zdravím Vědátoři na pivu. Dneska tu máme Toma Millena, opět na AFO, takže Vědátoři na AFO. A budeme řešit virtuální realitu, edukaci a podobné věci. So I'm going to switch to English. Hi.
Hi.
And you are from Crossover Labs?
Yes.
Director of VR or something?
So yeah, mostly we do lots of different things, but yeah, we're really interested in immersive technology for storytelling.
And you are curating VR part here in Academy of Millen.
Yeah, so I'm the guest curator here for the virtuality program.
So since most of our viewers are not here in Academy of Millen, could you in just a short period describe what this VR part here looks like?
Yes.
What can people experience?
So we've got 4 different projects. You can go and meet the last bird of its species in Hawaii. You can go inside somebody's mind and encounter the artificial intelligence that's trying to take over. You can visit the site where the bomb dropped on Hiroshima, and you can sit opposite David Attenborough in the Natural History Museum.
And he just talks? Or?
He tells you about fossils and brings the fossils to life in front of you.
And the content of the video, content of the VR, is it like from videos, like from camera, or is it similar to computer CGI?
So it's a mix.
Yeah.
So in some cases it's purely CGI, and then in other cases it's video but with some effects. And then actually in the David Attenborough one, he's live 3D captured using kind of photogrammetry.
Yeah, what's the real difference if you are shooting a documentary, if you are shooting a VR documentary, whether it's CGI or a live one? What's the difference when we are actually doing the thing?
In order to actually produce it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So shooting in VR using cameras and making a 360 video is still kind of a traditional way of working. You're still working in like video editing software in order to piece the thing together and using things like After Effects. Whereas developing CGI kind of room scale experiences, you're developing in game engines, which is a completely different set of skills.
And you're using Unity
or Unreal, yeah.
Yeah, that's like my the next question. It's like I have been I saw some educational video games, like a traditional one, and not like non-VR.
Yeah.
In the past years, and sure there are some ordinary games or like games that are mainly aimed at education purposes, that have been turned into education games, but there were as well educational games aimed to be educational as a primary objective, and they tend not to be that
engaging.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And those things exist also in virtual reality for sure. But that's why what I'm really interested in doing is programming storytelling first, really engaging stories. And if people learn something about the science as well, that's just a brilliant bonus.
So it's a game experience, but it's mostly linear, if I
yes, yeah, they're all kind of linear projects. So so they are closer to films than they are games for sure.
But you can look around and
and sometimes interact.
Yeah.
And then in the case of the Hiroshima project, the day the world changed, you are in the experience with other people at the same time. You can see their shadows around, so it's a kind of social experience.
You can switch different times within the same setting or something.
The story just kind of happens around you, and you're there to explore. You can touch objects and kind of interact.
How long do you work as crossover media or as VR?
About 5 years. So, and I guess that's kind of when VR started this time around.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I've been kind of working with it since it came around, but always primarily through a film festival lens. Yeah.
Do you think VR works better for education purposes than it's for entertainment purposes? Because we are yet to see, as far as I see, as far as I think, we are yet to see like real VR video game hit.
Yeah, no, that's true, and that's because the adoption just isn't high enough. The headsets are kind of clumsy in order to and pricey, and in order to get them in your house, it's like kind of the last thing you want to do. But what it works really well at is kind of appearing in places like museums, art galleries, festivals, places where people come out in order to experience something, and because VR headsets aren't in people's homes, it means that there can't be a VR game hit because
makes sense,
because nobody's going to buy it.
It's like the old arcade games, but this time for museums mostly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly, and just like video game arcades, like it started the same way, and TV and cinema started with cinema. Yeah. Everything kind of has to start in this public way because people don't know they want it until they've had a chance to experience it enough.
Yeah, to drive the price and to buy it for the homes.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you see one day that children? One day when you see, or if you see the children experiencing VR in school, because we have like a documentary that in some schools can watch.
Yep.
Do you see children like 9 to 5 is math, then 9 to 10 is math, 10 to 11 is history, 11 to 12 is VR. Do you see something like that?
Something like that, but 10 to 11 is history, and you're using VR in that history lesson. And if you think about kind of just straightforward future-proofing of education, think about 50 years from now when you wheel out a TV screen or put on a projector in a classroom. It's like, what is this flat medium? Why would I want to consume content this way? It's probably not how people will be consuming content.
Yeah, but it's a generational thing. Technologies tend to, before they're adapted, it takes some time. And
for sure. But there's already programs that Google are running. Google Expeditions is called, so that where they give out hundreds of free headsets into schools, and they make their own kind of like lessons. I mean, I'm not sure I want Google to be deciding what children get taught, but it's a start.
Different topic for different.
A very different topic.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it.
Cool. Awesome. That wasn't too bad. Not too painful.
You want something to add that I didn't ask? Like I sometimes ask people like, what is the one thing that you think people should know that's not actually being talked about that often? About the VR.
Yeah, that people should know. I think it's interesting because, and you brought it up, is that when people think about virtual reality, they instantly think that it's video games. And really, most of the stuff that's being made is not video games at all, and it's not really film. It's
something in between.
Yes, it's its own thing.
Like if you are developing something that's made this live footage and it's a video game engine, how does your team actually looks like? Because from my experience, people that know film doesn't actually know much about video games, and people that do video games because they're like programmers don't actually know that much about film, and none of them mostly knows about documentaries or like sciencey thing.
No, and so game developers are often surprised that you're coming along and saying we want to make this VR project, and it isn't a game, and we're from the world of film, and it's two worlds colliding. But that's kind of where I work most often, is getting different practices together who wouldn't usually collaborate and get them to collaborate.
So just networking the people.
Yeah, and the interesting other thing is that actually filmmakers, when they come at VR for the first time, often you can see them struggling to find their frame.
Yeah.
They want to put it in a box. They want everyone to look over that way and never thinking about that way.
Yeah.
And so what we are finding is a lot of people from theatre are suddenly kind of come into the productions as well, because they're much more used to thinking about things in space. It actually is much more natural for them
because
to be working in it.
They grew up on this mind framework.
Exactly. Yeah, and they can bring that knowledge of how you tell a story in space, rather than in a kind of very considered box.
So how many people in the world are like you, or are like the crossover?
It's difficult. It's growing massively, but you do see, working for film festivals like I do, like you see the same people everywhere.
Yeah.
So there's probably like in terms of that close community, like maybe like 200, 300 people. Yeah, I'd say. But it's growing all the time because
there's room for.
There's so much room.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have not enough content still, and it's part of the reason that why would anybody want to buy a headset when there's not enough content?
Like it's like Head 22 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I hope that in the coming years it will grow into our schools and stuff.
Yeah.
I think there's definitely, because I think that there's definitely room for improvement. Like even for the basic documentary, like the normal ones, documentaries in schools. But VR is something else entirely. So.
Absolutely. It just needs to get cheaper.
Yeah. Well,
more
the economics.
Yeah.
So thank you for your time.
Cool. No worries. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Tolik zatím z AFO a uvidíme zase v dalším videu a čus bus.
Goodbye.